What's going on, everybody? I'm Lawrence Owen, and oh my goodness, there's been so much talk about who has been the worst quarterback trade, over the last couple years, right? I mean, there's Deshaun Watson for the Cleveland Browns, which the Cleveland Browns gave a ton for, right? And that's amidst the whole situation of what was going on with him with the off the field stuff. We're going to leave the off the field stuff completely where it belongs off the field. We're just going to talk about what these guys do on the field and for their teams. Now, the other quarterback, obviously, Denver Broncos, Russell Wilson. Both these guys have played 2 seasons with their respective teams. But which one's been the worst trade, right? Which one so far has actually played worse for their teams? Because, I mean, if you look at the Cleveland Browns right now, the Cleveland Browns riding pretty high. They're doing decent right now. They got a winning record right now in their division, and what is considered to be one of the tougher divisions in the NFL. And then you got the Denver Broncos, who, let's face it, uh, not been doing the greatest the last 2 seasons, and yet the Browns have actually done decently, right, in their divisions and for the season, last season and this season. But is that more of a team thing, or is that quarterback play? All right, I'm actually looking at actual quarterback play, and that has a lot to do with a lot of things, right? Because you got to take into consideration defensive play and all of that. We're going to go and look over some of these stats, all right? And as a comparison, besides just comparing the two guys' stats, we're going to kind of compare to a rookie this year who only played in, I think, 4 games this year, okay? And to be fair, this is a rookie that most people believed was, someone who needed a lot of development. Anthony Richardson, not the best passer in the league. And so we're going to compare a lot of the stat lines and between each other, plus Anthony Richardson, throwing him in there just as a gauge, you know, and we're going to see who really is the worst trade over the last couple seasons, because both these teams gave up multiple picks and huge contracts, right, to get these guys. So let's dive into it. And first and foremost, man, I'm going to tell you what. Holy cow. Let's take a look at Russell Wilson right here. All right, so we got Russell Wilson. Obviously, last year was awful. I mean, completely garbage fied. You go down, look at the sacks. All right, 55 sacks last year, a 10.2 sack. I mean, he got sacked 1 out of every 10 dropbacks. What? What? That's freaking crazy. All right, that is unreal. His quarterback, and this is passer rating, my bad, quarterback passer rating, was an 84.4. For a guy that's been in the league since 2012, not great. Not great at all. And only a 38.7 QBR. That's not good at all. That's god awful. Okay? Overall. Now this year it has went up. It has went up. It's near 100 now on the quarterback ratings, and his sacks are at 8.5%. It has dropped some, but it's still bad. But to be fair, his sack percentage has always been kind of bad, right? Always been kind of bad. Not the best, like 1 in 12 or 1 in 11, dropbacks. But still, 1 in 10 was awful. Last year, his completion percentage barely broke 60. It's now at 66.4. Nice jump back up to where it should be, right? As you can see in a lot of these stats, that's right amidst where he was as a Seahawk. And so was his touchdown. His touchdown percentage not quite where it should be. You got 6.4, 7, 8, 7, 2, 6'3", where his last season. 6'1", not bad. Interception percentage is actually good. It's under 2. Always love to see under 2 interception percentage. So this year, legitimately, from what I'm seeing, Russell Wilson has made a nice comeback as a quarterback. You know, obviously that first year, he was awful. Absolutely awful. This year, a little bit better. More back to where you're used to seeing him. And I'm fine with that. The one thing I don't like, obviously, is QBR, like I said, is 46, where you're used to seeing it in the 60s or 70s. And this is not a good situation. You should not have that. The thing that I really want to talk about right here, it's because of his yards per attempt. Okay. Yes, he's got his completion percentage has came up, but his yards per attempt, that's 7 yards per attempt, when you're used to seeing him around 8, is not, still not where you want to see. And that has a lot to do with why his QBR is not the best in the world. Obviously, you're also going to take into effect his rushing ability. Has a lot to do with his quarterback rating, which has been negative, right? Let's go to Deshaun Watson, because Deshaun, look, first year back in Cleveland, missed like over a year, almost 2 years before he actually played any. He only got 6 games in last season, okay? Had a below 60% completion percentage, only 58.2. But look, his touchdown percentage, 4.1. Ew. Interception percentage, 2.9. Ew. Right? Not good. His passer rating was just under 80. His QBR was 40. Right? Took 20 sacks, which, look at this. Sack percentage, like I said, over 10. That's awful. That's freaking awful. And he hasn't gotten any better. As a matter of fact, this year, his stats are worse through 4 games that he's played, right? The only thing that's better is completion percentage, right? He's actually got a worse touchdown percentage. His interception percentage is about the same. His yards per attempt is about the same, okay? But sack percentage, still bad. Still bad. QBR 41.9 to win up a little bit because he's able to scramble a little bit better. But that's not good. These are awful, awful stats. Now, to be fair, he's been dealing with injuries this year, right? He had that shoulder injury. He came back against the Colts, played like a quarter, and then got knocked out of that game, right? And then did not come back in. You go look at Anthony Richardson now. You look at Anthony Richardson's completion percentage as a rookie was 59.5%. Almost 60%. Almost. That's right around where Deshaun Watson's sitting at his average of the last 2 seasons. That's not good. Not good. Okay? And then we go over here to interception percentage. 1.2. What? 1.2. Well, that's way better than his 2.8 or Russell Wilson's 1.9. Right? Anthony Richardson, 4 games. 4 games. Okay? Touchdown percentage, 3.6. That's way better. It's like almost double. Like, well, not quite double. You would need 7.2 to hit double. But still, right? Still. Deshaun Watson's 3.7 touchdown percentage. So that's about, right? That's about equal. And we're talking about a rookie that will supposedly have to have a lot of work on on his game. A passer rating of 87.3. Russell's got him, obviously, 99. Better than what he was with Denver, though, And then you look at Deshaun. What? 80.9. Anthony's got an 87.3, a 46.5 QBR. Huh? What? Better than a 49.1? I mean, come on, guys. Pretty much the exact same QBR, 46.1, 46.5, pretty much the same as a rookie that needed help. Big difference. Sack percentage, 7.7%. All right. Takes less sacks. And he was better as a scrambling quarterback. So legitimately, if you're looking at this all the way around, a rookie who was supposed to have a few years before he could ever even become what he was supposed to be is doing better right now. And of course, he's injured for the season. But he was doing better than what Deshaun Watson has put up the last 2 years with Cleveland, right? Was doing better than what Russell Wilson did last year, and about kind of the same overall as Russell Wilson is doing this season. That's crazy, right? Now, some things Russell's doing better than Anthony Richardson is, but some things Russell's doing worse than what Anthony Richardson is. Which is why they have pretty much the same QBR, right, overall. But holy crap, dude. That's not a good situation for either. Now, if you look at the overall stats, you're going to say, without question, Deshaun Watson was the worst trade of these two, because it looks like Russell Wilson has taken a step for the better, getting back to what he normally is in his second year with the Denver Broncos. Now, Denver's got a mess of problems across the entire team, right? Whereas Cleveland is playing, as a unit, together as a team. And that's why Cleveland has got a winning record, and Denver is lucky to win against some of the worst teams in the league. So, right now, I'm definitely giving Russell Wilson the badge of honor here as being a guy who may actually come out of this smelling way better than Deshaun Watson. Now, we got to wait to see if Deshaun Watson comes back. He took himself out of the game. He went down with a concussion, or not necessarily a concussion against the Colts. Went down. They tested him for a concussion. He passed it. And then he's like, oh, well, my shoulder still kind of hurts. I don't want to play no more. I don't know a single NFL player out there that would do that. I don't know. And then the head coach is like, well, I don't want to risk it. Well, you got to risk it or biscuit, right? That's the saying. So come on now. Come on. I'm a little worried about this. I think Russell will end up being a better overall trade as of right now. I'm not completely sold that Deshaun is going to be a trade bust, but it sure as heck, as of right now, is looking that way. And unless the attitude changes and it shows that he wants to be out there and that he's trying his butt off, I think that it's not a good sign moving forward. Let me know what you think in the comments. Who was the worst trade bust in the NFL over the last couple seasons? You don't even have to be a quarterback. Don't even have to be these two guys. If you think a different trade was worse than either of these two, which I can't possibly fathom right now, right? But just let me know which was the worst trade over the last two seasons in the NFL. I appreciate each and every one of you. This was just, going over statisticals, right? And how their attitude towards playing in the NFL, and of course, taking an adjustment on how their team is working around them. Right now, Russell's got all the pluses, and I'm not even a Russell fan. I'm not even I would not want Russell Wilson on my team because I don't want, a smaller, shorter guy as my long-term quarterback prospect, right? I don't want him there. Personally, I don't like his attitude when it comes to me, and more worried about my brand than I am the team, that kind of stuff. I understand the situations with Deshaun Watson and his off the field stuff. I'm trying to take that off as well. Same with Russell Wilson. I'm taking that out of consideration. That's why, when it comes to just pure football and his stats and things of that nature, that's what I'm going by, and that's why, to me, Russell was by far and away the better trade. Okay. Again, I think that's going to do it for this episode. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. Appreciate that a ton. And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen, and I want you to have a good one.